Hello and welcome to the Eclectic Knitter. My name, of course, is Raylene. You can find me as Kamana Knits on Ravelry, Instagram, YouTube? No, YouTube. It's the Eclectic Knitter. um, Show notes I've been putting in the description box below. Not linked, but the notes are there. You can find everything in my project page on Ravelry. There's also pictures and stuff on Instagram. Yeah, it has been over a month again, I think. But yeah, I have stuff to show and stuff I'm working on, and a dog that is grumpy at me. He's like curled up as far away from me on the couch as he can get. I'm washing all of his stuff. You can see I have a sheet over the couch. It's to keep the dog hair off the couch as much as possible, which is hard when your dog's 100 pounds and black. And then he also has blankets in his crate that were looking a little, they were just washed 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. No, it would have been 2 weeks ago. It was like it's like May long weekend. So yeah, they were looking a little furry. So I threw that stuff in the wash and I vacuumed. I got a new vacuum cleaner because my little stick vacuum broke. Finally. It had been somewhat broken for a while, and it finally gave up the good fight. So, oh, this looks so crooked. Why is this so crooked? I don't think my straps are straight. Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't even know what's going on anymore. I'm sorry. First world problems. Alright, so I'll start off with finished objects. I'll start off with knitted finished objects and then spinning finished objects. I have one knitted finished object that I cannot show because it has been given away to its recipient. I did a test knit recently for Sadie Ruin of the Yarnivore podcast. She's doing a pattern book of socks. It's called the Canadian Soul Patterns. So there's one per Canadian province or territory. One is released a month. I test knit New Brunswick, which was a really interesting stitch pattern. I used On the Round signature sock. I think it was Speckled Cosmic Rainbow. It was a white base with neon rainbow specklies. And the patterning worked really well for those. But I did the 64 stitch size, and because of the way the stitch pattern is, they were too tight on me, but they fit my mom perfectly. So my mom got them. So yeah, that was a really quick pattern. Really nice to test knit for Sadie. Yeah, you should definitely take a look if you enjoy knitting patterns and knitting socks, I should say. I haven't knit a pattern sock in a hot second. Actually, more like at least 2 years, maybe longer. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've knit a pattern sock. But they went surprisingly quickly, and I was really happy with them. The next thing is I have a pair of vanilla socks that I finished. I finished these socks in a week. This is Quaere yarns, Quaere fibers. She had a club, self-striping sock club back in 2017. I don't know if it's been more recent than that, but this is the April 2017 colorway. So they are a little bit longer than I usually knit my cuffs, but I am finding that I prefer my socks that have longer cuffs on them, which makes me sad and kind of happy at the same time. And then I use the Thumb Turn Afterthought heel from the Sockatecture book I think it's by Laura Nielsen. That's not good. I don't know who that book is by. And now I am talking about it. What an awful podcaster I am. Let's see. It was Sock Architecture by Laura Neal. It's a cooperative press book. I just purchased the ebook copy of it because the actual printed copy was a little out of my price range. Yeah, I'll talk about purchasing and stuff a little bit later on, but those are my socks. They fit. They are nice. I really like that heel. The next thing for finished objects is something you have never seen in progress, so ta-da. I finished a Pengweeno. I joined it. It's actually not completely finished because, oh, this is for my nephew, for Easy. His full name is Ezekiel. We call him Easy. So this is 2 strands of fingering weight held double. I used various scraps and mini skeins. I used some mini skeins for it, but mostly scraps. He's 2, turning 2 in October, so this is his birthday present. The part that I used here for the seed stitch back actually has sparkle. I used a dark gray Madelinetosh scrap with this blue, white, neon green, teal, purple speckle or variegated from Ethereal Fibers, and it's actually a sparkle base. And I modified it slightly. You finish off with this super long I-cord bind off. So you start here, you go all the way along, all the way down, all the way down, all the way across, all the way across. It was my mom's idea to use this, oh, there's an end I haven't woven in. Anyway, it was my mom's idea to use this neon orange safety vest color. The other option was a green. She chose orange. So I only have her to blame. It was a mini skein. And then here at the end on the right front, because all the pictures are worn with the right front overlapping, like that. I would cast off a stitch, and then I don't know if you'll even be able to see this. I did like a 3-stitch or a 3-row just regular I-cord, and then I attached it again and bound off. And then I did the same thing over here, and I am actually planning on putting toggle buttons on this front, on the left front. I'm going to attach toggle buttons so that it can be fastened closed. But it has not been washed yet, and I actually don't like the toggle buttons that I bought. I went to Fabricland. All they had were light brown, and nothing on this is brown. It's all grays. I'm having frame rate dropping issues, and I'm not sure what to do about it. 1 second. Okay, hopefully that'll be better. I plugged in my laptop. I don't know if it will be any better. So anyway, I bought toggle buttons at Fabricland. I do not like them. They are light brown. Those are the only toggle buttons they had, were brown. I found, you know how up here at least, Fabricland is like the Joann's, I guess, of Canada. Not having been to a Joann's, I use that term, that comparison very loosely. But they have, it's a fabric store, of course, Fabricland. They also have some yarn, a little bit, notions, everything to do with sewing, basically. But I was disappointed in their toggle button selection. They had these rectangular ones, and up here you can find these round buttons of various sizes that look like they've been covered in leather, but it's like a hatched, like a woven leather, like thick leather weave, but it's not actually leather. It's like plastic that looks like leather. Anyway, they had these little rectangular ones that were like that I really liked, but they were like this reddish brown. And once again, no brown, none, no brown, gray, black, blue, everything, all the colors that make brown, but no actual brown. So I didn't get them because I couldn't paint them. And I thought I'd be able to paint the plain brown, the plain light wood ones, but my mom looked at them and they're varnished, and she doesn't think the paint will stick to it without it being sanded down. And then because it has ridges on the end, it just leads into a whole bunch of other things. So I'm going to go on Etsy, see if I can find the toggle buttons that I am looking for, and they will be gray or black, ideally. In the ideal world, that is what I want, because they will match with the rest of this. As much as the rest of this crazy sweater matches, they will match. I did on the sleeves, you do this section flat, and then you work this section, and then you do this, and then you do an I-cord bind off. I did alternating I-cord bind offs. So this purple here is over here, and this blue over here is over here. I'm very, very happy about that. Anyway, I think it'll be the cutest thing. And I want to do one for my niece as well. I have all of the yarn in a giant sweater bag to pull from. And both their birthdays are in October. So I need to probably get on that sooner rather than later. There are, depending on how many times you switch yarns, by the way, there are 1,000,000,001 ends to weave in. I am so glad that I started weaving ends as I went. Because, man, if I had left that to the end, I would have been weaving in ends for eternity. I would have been very unhappy. The next thing that I finished is also not washed or blocked. I finished my exploration station. It's pretty big, and it has not been blocked. I did get my blocking wires. My mom brought them. So this is done. This purple here is, it's Moonstone Dyeworks BFL sock. I think Stone Cold Manners colorway. I could be wrong. This variegated one here is Voolenvine yarns in her Volca base, which is a merino nylon cashmere in the Dragon's Tears colorway. This green is Madelinetosh, Tosh Merino Light in the Undergrowth color. And the border and the in-betweeny bits is also Madelinetosh, Tosh Merino Light in the Real Friends Don't Lie color. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I don't know if it's going to block out nicely. I had some shenanigans. I had some shenanigans in the brioche. As far as I read the instructions, as far as I understood the instructions, you only increased on one side during the brioche. Maybe I misread. Either way, I did not increase as often as I should, and so my stitch count was way off when I finished the brioche. So I made up for that. So you can see here that it kind of, I'm hoping I can block it out because I have, like I said, I have blocking wires. So then I increase the rate of increases over in this section so that I could get back up to where I needed to be. Did that on both sides, by the way. So I could get up to where I needed to be. So this really like swoopy swoops. But I'm hoping with wires I can pull it straight still. I mean, I can just pull it straight here. And then hopefully I can smooth the rest and get these chevron-y points at the bottom nice and tight. Or nice and pretty and whatever. I had a really hard time with section, this is section 1, section 2 is the brioche, section 3. This slip stitch pattern, I don't know why I had so much trouble with it. So I pick up on stitch patterns pretty quick. I'll show you a Colourworks sweater that I'm working on, and it only takes me like maybe 2 or 3 repeats of the pattern for what color the stitches are, what color I work each stitch in, until I can just do the rest of the round without looking at the chart. I did not figure out this stitch pattern for this slip stitch part until I was like halfway through. I just couldn't wrap my head around it about how to, like, I like to read my knitting and to tell if I'm off or not. I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know why I had so much trouble with it. I just did. It was awful. It was absolutely awful. I hated it so much. It took me so long to get through that section because I got so frustrated with it. Everything else was fine, by the way. Everything else was just peachy keen. No other issues. It was my first time doing brioche, which turned out fine. I enjoyed it. I like the way it looks. I like how smushy it is. I may do more brioche once I'm doing color work, apparently. So yeah, this needs to be blocked. I was actually going to block it on Sunday. I was going to lay it out on my bed Sunday morning first thing and hope and pray that it was dry by the time bedtime came around. But that didn't happen. Again, I-cord bind off. Takes forever. Looks real nice. Can't argue with that. Stephen West knows what he's doing. The next finish objects. Holy crap, it's 15 minutes in and I'm still doing finish objects. Why do I only have 3 of these? Okay. Well, I have 4, but one's run away onto the floor over there, and I can't reach it, and I'm blocked in. So you're going to see 3 skeins of 4. I finished my Patchwork Kit for my Hello Yarns Patchwork Kit. It is a traditional 3-ply. A Patchwork Kit is 1 pound. I have another skein of this, by the way, but like I said, it's on the floor. It's 1 pound of odds and ends of her club colorways, shop colorways, whatever. You don't know what yarns or what fibers it is or what fiber content is or anything. You know nothing. You know nothing. And you get it. And I split it up the way the Passionate Spinner does her combo spins. So I pulled all the little bumps out, put them in front of me, and split them horizontally, and then split each section vertically to make a whole pile of these little strips of fiber. And then I randomly put them in a bag and randomly chose one at a time and spun them. I got 1,260 yards of a 3-ply. It's about 14 to 16 wraps per inch. I'm hoping to knit a sweater out of it. I do not know which sweater. I tried to find a sweater, but I'm not sure what gauge it's going to knit up nicely at, so I figure I'm going to do a gauge swatch once I'm ready to work with it. And whatever gauge swatch ends up the nicest when I'm done, I'm going to try to find a pattern to match that. My instinct is like something like Flax Light or what the Fade, is that? The Fade cardigan, Fade sweater, So Faded by Andrea Mowry. I just want a simple top down. It'll probably end up being cropped because I only have 1,260 yards and I'm a 60-inch full bust, 53-inch upper bust. So I'm thinking some kind of cropped, hopefully long sleeve sweater. And it will stripe. It will stripe a whole awful lot. As you can see, there are some sections that are very dark, and there are some sections that are very light. This whole skein kind of looks lighter than these. This is actually a smaller skein than the other 3. What happened was I had 2 incredibly full bobbins, and then I had 1 bobbin that was almost as full, but not quite. And so I plied them all together, and I got 3 very full bobbins. And then the one that was short, I ended up with leftovers, or I finished first. And then I used a scale, and I actually split up the singles from the 2 bobbins that had like a lot of singles left. There was like almost 100 grams, I think, of singles left. No, let's see. Each bobbin was 74 grams, including the yarn. Each bobbin, both bobbins had, I think, 40 grams on it. Yeah, that's almost 100 grams. That's 80 grams. 90 grams, I think. And then I split it in 3, of course, so each one needed 30 grams. So I needed to bring them all down to 70 grams because the bobbins themselves weigh about 40 grams. So I worked singles onto a roll of toilet paper as a spare bobbin, basically, storage bobbin. And then once I thought I had it more even, I then spun that into more of a 3-ply. And I still have singles left on 2 of the bobbins, but not, like, I'm not concerned about it anymore. This is, by the way, washed. The only thing that's washed is the yarn. Ta-da! So yeah, this is the first time I've spun more than like 5 ounces of the same color. And this wasn't even the same color. Same project, I guess. But I'm really happy with it. I am shocked, actually, that I got like a sweater quantity basically worth like 1,260 yards is a decent amount of yardage. So yeah. Works in progress. Let's see. Well, since I'm talking about spinning, I'll talk about more spinning. I decided to try spinning Superwash Targhee. I've never spun Targhee before. I have one of the first fibers, one of the first dyers that I bought fiber from was Into the Whirled. And I have a braid of Superwash Targhee in her Scissors Lizard Spock colorway. So I am spinning it as fine as I can possibly go. Now I have cross-laced my flyer to get less uptake, which has significantly helped. I'm actually getting my normal wraps per inch of my single seems to be about 32. And with this, I'm getting 45 to 60, probably 45 to 55-ish wraps per inch. And I'm going to do a 3-ply. This is the first third. And I'm hoping to be able to do socks out of this. And each of these sections, I've stripped them down into very thin strips because I'm trying to spin thinner and I'm trying to see if that fiber prep helps me spin thinner. But I think I'm actually getting the most benefit out of cross-lacing my flyer so that I have less uptake, because I find that that's what it is. When I try to spin finer, it just pulls so hard all the time, and this way I'm actually able to pull finer, and it allows the more twist to go into the fiber before I put it onto the bobbin, which allows me to spin finer. So that's really helping out. Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. The next thing that I have actively worked on, I'm working on another pair of socks, vanilla socks. These are going to be Afterthought heel socks. So this is the Gone Glamping colorway from Nomadic Yarns. This is her Brit sock base, which is a BFL nylon 2-ply. I really like it. It's a little bit more, it's a little bit thicker than the traditional like 75-25 blend of merino nylon that you get, where you get like 463 yards. This is like closer to 420, 410. And this is just the first one. I like the ghost stopper balls, because then you can just grab them and go and start knitting, and you don't have to wind them and you don't have to fuss with it. Yeah, I really like it. So yeah, this is how far I've gotten. Obviously I cast these on well over a week ago, so it's not going as fast as the Quaere Fiber Arts socks did, but not everything can, alas. The last project that I'm working on is a test knit. This is a sweater. I am working on a test knit for Caitlin Hunter, Boylan Knitworks. I'm knitting the 64-inch size for a colorwork yoke sweater. She's shown it on Instagram. I'm not close to done, so. I'm still working on the yoke. I am using Jamieson and Smith 2-ply jumper weight. This is shade 203. And I am using Brooklyn Tweed Loft in Long Johns. Oh, that's looking very orange. It is more like that, I suppose. It's red. It's like a deeper, there's quite a bit of black in here, so it's like a blacky red, kind of like Tarte from Madelinetosh, which is like my favorite red in the world. Anyway, so this is the test knit that I am working on. It's the one that has the horsies. I'm working on the horsey test knit. That looks good. When I look at it, all I can see is lumpy schlumpy. But it actually looks really good on the camera. So yeah, I am that far into the yoke. It's really nice to work on. I'm really enjoying it. I have not decided what kind of sleeves I'm going to do. She has instructions for short sleeves or long sleeves. The long sleeves are bishop sleeves, which go straight and then decrease, and I'm not sure about that. I may do long sleeves. She said it was fine if I did long sleeves and modified it so that they were a fitted sleeve. May end up doing that. I have till the end of the month. I don't have to finish it by the end of the month, but I do want to kind of get a work on it. So that's all I'm working on. That is all I'm really doing. Yeah, it's once again, every once in a while I try to get things off my needles and then I end up casting stuff on. Like I still need to do another sweater for my niece for her birthday. And I do want to spin, and I need to get that test knit finished. And I still have my soiree sweater on the needles, which I don't know if I'm in love with anymore, but ripping back mohair does not sound like a fun time, and I'm like almost done the back. I've got like less than a full repeat of the chart pattern for the back to go, and I just have the front and the sleeves, so may just continue. Probably will just continue. And if I don't end up wearing it, then I can look at ripping it back and using it for something else. So yeah, I haven't worked on my Champagne Pool socks by Woolberry Fiber. I've done the first one. I think I showed that last time, but I haven't actually touched it since. I want to do a shift sweater by Andrea Mowry, some mosaic knitting. I want to use Madelinetosh work sock. I have a pavement colorway, and then I want to use hand spun for the contrasting colors. I have a bunch of hand spun that I've done recently. I think I showed it last time, that are just blues, and some have pinks and some are more orangey and blue. I have almost enough of those ones to use that as the contrast, and I think that would be really pretty. And then I also want to find something. I spun up some Falkland minis. I bought 4 ounces, 100 grams of Falkland fiber from Southern Cross Fibers, and it was split into these 25 ounces. Woo! That's a big bump. 25 gram bumps, and each one was a different color. So I have a brown, a dark green, and then like an aqua-y blue, and then a mauve, and I spun those all up as individual singles and chain plied them, individual colors, and chain plied them. So I have these 4 little mini skeins. Each one's about 60 yards-ish, and I'd like to find a pattern to use, because I want to use those for the color work in a yoke, and then I don't know what I would use for the body, but something. I think they're a little bit heavier than a fingering weight though, so I'm not 100% on that. But I would like to use them in a project. I could always use them for a hat. That's always an option. Hat is always an option. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Work's busy. Work's been busy. Part of the reason why I have not recorded I don't think I recorded in July. Or if I did, it was at the very beginning. Is because I've been working 6 days a week for most of July. It's finally over. I did not work last Saturday. And then Sunday, I went with my mom and my sister-in-law and my niece to see Cinderella on Rainbow Stage, which was really fun. So yeah, the dog is fine. We go to the park. He's fine. I gave him a bath a couple weeks ago, and he was mad at me the rest of the day. But, you know, I'm going to go. It's been about half hour. That should be This should be good. I have talked about everything that I wanted to. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching, feel free to follow me on Instagram. I am posting there fairly regularly-ish. Not really much of a social media person. And I do all the social media at work and I don't like it. So I post up there more often than anywhere else, to be honest with you. I did do Stash Dash this year. I've already posted my finished. I don't think I'm going to get anything else done before the deadline, which I believe is the 24th, which is like this weekend. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to get anything else done. My final meterage with all the spinning and everything that I've done was over 13,000 meters. So I entered my post into the 10K. So I did 13K. Not enough for the 15K, but I may as well post for the 10. I just did a placeholder post in their general Stash Dash chatter thread, and then updated it every time I finished something so that I had everything together. And then I posted it in the 10K because I wasn't sure how much I would end up getting done. And I wanted to make sure that where I posted it was reasonable for what I ended up doing. And yeah, spinning this certainly helped, let me tell you, because spinning, you can count it like this is a 3-ply. So you count the yardage for each single plus when plying. So you times, I think it's 1,152 meters times 4. So it's like 5,000 meters basically. So yeah, spinning will get you super far in Stash Dash. That's the only reason why I did as well as I did, let's be honest. But that's what it's there for. So yeah, that is about it. I will talk to you guys hopefully sooner than last time, but I think I say that every time. So have fun. Enjoy what you're knitting. Bye.